And now, as normal people do, it's gardening time. At first I look around. We start here. This is going to stay as it is. This doesn't look very good. Here, this is very interesting. Arabic lilies, yeah, 4. I had only 1. It is astounding. Those Rosenschlämmchen, I have a Aldi video, likely stolen or even still findable in my video compilations. So here, this is going to be that, yeah, it's clear. Here, this doesn't function. Here, one of the neighbors was so friendly to give me another a rab, yeah, in Arabic, a person here to watch over things and to steal all in a while. I have indeed connected it to certain people. Whether right or wrong, I think it's not too wrong. The dead birds. My formulation in the Strafanzeige to the Erfurtchen police, though, was, ich werde die jetzt der Natur überantworten, yeah? Because intended was to burden me, but with another a plea, which would have been to take care that those house birds, likely birds that can eat flesh, if grown up, to burden me with the problem to take care that those are dealt with properly in a Tierentsorgungsanlage. That would have cost, I think, 3-figured. I don't have it, of course. As is known, yeah. So there, also here, this. Yeah. So, let's start. It's gardening time. This is very nice. This is British. This reminds me that I indeed at the age of 20 I ought to have been there. Maybe my life wouldn't have turned out to be such a catastrophe. Understandable only upon my texts. Otherwise it would seem as if totally normal and only my fault. The problem is that there are people stalking me through decades, and be it the little girls, prior though, having started off in the Second World War days. And yes, and then I would be passed on, and experience all the same. Totally boring. Totally boring. Which on the sexual level, I have understood that now, since 20 years of absence from scenes, so to speak, as if that was my niveau. Yeah, they would put on enzyme, and the next time enzyme again, other time enzyme. Next time it's enzyme again. Love relationship number 3 and number 2 being conjunct to each other. I show it already in a earlier Schreiben. Staatsanwaltschaft Frankfurt, paragraphs 211, maybe 249 StGB. And prior similar. You don't feel ashamed about yourself, do you? Thereby, it is shown when harking back and doing it the way I did, which is also, I think, it's psychotherapeutic, but me with a totally different aim than doing myself or the Turkish former friend a psychotherapy. So one can connect it back indeed to very early beginnings of child molestation, child prostitution, child abusage. Some complied and liked it later even, but it is still forbidden. Oh yes, and the guy that possesses me, yeah, I would say from my perspective, no one possesses me. I even thought many hours about the question, how can it be done that one is all of a sudden married and being slowly but surely stripped of all possibilities. I don't mean only on that level, but on the professional level as well. Yeah, totally occupied, unable of being alone with my computer and selling my stuff on my own. It is all already out. It is all already out, and I will have nothing from it. Nothing. This is clear, but I proceed nonetheless. Not for the mere fun of it, for the insights, but because I started it. Maybe this was foreseeable and wished for. Ja, so. Haben sie sich ja alle bedienen lassen und zahlen nicht. Echter Wahnsinn. So. It was all told and conveyed, but what can one do if one is in a health center, for example, sees that all of a sudden after me at home, there, so any connection, no, objectively none. But however, all of a sudden they would place coffee tumblers and sit there, legs crossed, and conveying, yes, we are waiting for text lines, and either we copy it directly onto another a hard drive, or we sit there, a camera behind, and type it all by ourselves, thereby conveying the impression, yes, that one is typing, so maybe the future is over. Total scheiße, richtig scheiße. And then finally, now it is a little bit, they have stress, yeah, they really desperately try to get all their stuffs ready and on their very hard drives, and I experience first losses. I experience first losses like after the first version of doing the reconstruction of the core criminal complex. So if they indeed want to do a doubling, I indeed will be left with nothing. And what they do with my things, for example in relation to insurers, yeah, I have no clue about that. I will have no clue about that. This is what I call unsportlich. Yeah? This is really unsportive. Totally unsportive. Me doing all the stuff for an hourly return, nothing. I get 1,000 a month social welfare money. 1,000 a month. I even will expect a text, from my perspective, a larger text problem that indeed formulation Al Jazeera early on indeed could land me into prison. Bribed officers will then put a cam inside and people just can watch. And then, at the latest, they will lose interest. They will have lost interest. I'm then 60-year-old and gave my life here against nothing. Against simply nothing. It was not foreseeable, though, that I would proceed that far. I would say I indeed proceeded far. So. And all those named i.e. example, a riem. They have many relatives looking similar, or they have simply gotten crispos. They have simply gotten crispos, which in their case, as likely culprits in manifold ways, will be good, will be very good. But if I receive now a CRISPR, yeah, then it would be again to my detriment. Would again, of course, be to my detriment. How else expectable? There is alarm on the phone as if someone talks to me. What shall I read into that? Nothing. So. What I all had to assume. A former primary school teacher, the red-haired one, a sexual-wise, a child preferrer. I did not like her too much, and she herself would at times behave like a child. Would you believe that? Then the other primary school teacher, former primary school teacher, around 15 years younger than my parents, so now maybe 75, I had to suspect her having been in the 60s, totally relevant, a RRF. If that all was true, but who cares if the child is sexual-wise a vamp, though looking quite boring if it was her, yeah, then one cannot do very much. Because if she is used to fuck else, to make love even, to else, then of course this is payment, yeah? Where do you get that? You don't get that so easily. So, and if that was true, that she is a partner even to my brother, on sexual grounds when they were both minor, having proceeded in doing some businesses in relationship to the von Clausewitz-Kaserne in Nieburg. There the identity matters. If that all was provable, so that would be something. So, and to formulate it clear, all those people, those easily to simply stop contacts, I wrote off. I indeed wrote off. It was all a grab into the loo. To be very, oh, this is really sad. This makes me sad. Grabs into the loo. If this is not too off-putting, then one really can follow me in assuming what is there behind. Yes, there is a news nose visible, but she says she is Protestant, and this will have taken months and months to verify that, other than simply believing it. It is not too important, but indeed I have never, how does one say, converted. I indeed did never convert. So, and some received an early suggestion, no, not early, but a suggestion of getting prosecuted, i.e. attempt of murder.
This would also include my parents, astoundingly maybe, but if one is very structured and precise, and
then one indeed arrives at that. Because in denying me on no grounds technical knowledge-wise, that there could have happened such a thing as computer criminality to my disbehalf, they visit me though. This is what they did in contrast to others, but having denied me that was really not very good. It was taught by the TV though. It was indeed taught by the TV, and all in the while one heard the expression, someone is in a hospital, yeah? So if I was meant, but this is now the realm of psychosis, then one has to ask on which knowledge-wise grounds in inverted commas, did they announce that into the knowing and informed, pre-informed open? On which grounds? On these grounds of having misunderstood, but one sentence, ja, like, da sollen sie sich doch wieder vertragen oder was, I don't even remember it, it was, they would take such sentences and justify completely stopping a whole career, which started not too unpromising. Which indeed had started 2002 already, not too unpromising. So. Total scheiße. Total scheiße. So, someone had to be put into a hospital, and that would entail the being there, and if all day or all night long, in my case, of Krankenschwestern, Parastar, ja. Parastar, half a star. Oh, we give you that one. That would be the ward issue. The ward issue. So the first passport showed here a ward. Indeed, there was a red dot within the passport for if in any way doable, maybe even, of doing a triangulation. Either to find me better or anything. No talks, no invitation as regards the 2006 UAE matter. Nothing. Also, arson related, had I been with the statual prosecutor being invited twice as a witness? No, I wasn't. And else, yeah, maybe I would have a co-inhabitant lying here also. So, meaning, as I'm living alone in this flat, someone else indeed would have gotten a unreal key, a key which ought not have been given to anyone, a key that was illegally obtained by breaking in once, invisibly, and then taking the key, copying it, and use it ever after. Passing it on even. Passing it even on. What am I doing here? I'm searching for worms. I indeed had worms. Nice ones. I indeed had nice worms. So first businesses have already started
it is indeed a redo
of what has been done in the 70s, of then has been proceeded with. Me in a very unlucky double role as my mother, as my totally different mother, having experiences 2 aborts. Me on a different level, the abort UAE 2006, my texts I deleted myself. I have argued that I did better so, because objectively there was indeed a danger. I mentioned that already in the Schreiben to the Staatsanwaltschaft Erfurt for the first beginning, 3 pages only, and I would connect, as interestingly was already done in the Second World War days, combining 2 matters and interlinking it by means of language. Schamaka, Bahnhofschenke, person hanging dead from the ceiling, and also here the Schreiben reveals indeed completely different locations. Crime complexes were being connected. This is the insurance matter issue that is a grounder for my Instagram website, Enforcement and Empowerment. Read from the reverse, empowerment and enforcement. So, for example, the Strafanzeige that is not yet online against the unknown. With regards to the birds, that would have put me into another financial matter, thoughtfully done intention-wise, by killing those birds. Could indeed empower in terms of giving the idea, though not on Counter-Rechtsberatungsgesetz fields, grounds, could enable to transfer certain things. Though not copying, because it says each case is different. So, 20 minutes, I do another video later.